if they have a friend who's a foreigner and who's a filmmaker, that friend is going to tell them, anything you do, you should get paid for that. This is the worst advice you can give to a beginner. When you are a beginner, yes, you should do things for free. Because who are you right now? You're a nobody. Nobody knows you, and nobody knows if you're good, any good or not.
Networking is
and then you do whatever you want. Like after you've built up your reel,
I like nothing more than saying things like the modern art thing to people. They pop into my head. This is what I did yesterday, and no one paid me to go there. Yeah. But those experiences are. What else are you going to do anyway? You'll sit on your bed with an iPhone.
Right.
I do that. I do too much of that personally in my life, but it feels like it's adding up to me.
Yeah.
It feels like it's there are lots of these things happening.
Well, I mean, just a question. I mean, what do you generally do though with on your iPhone? Is it some gaming or some?
Oh, never. No.
Oh, okay. So what?
It's all social media.
Social media. Okay.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Right.
I'm absolutely addicted. I've said it too many times.
Right. Well, I think that's the case of most people, and I don't want to criticize because people have their own lives. So whatever makes you happy, you can do, of course, as long as you don't hurt other people. But I think that this is one of the things, though, about the present society is that everybody's consumed either by social media or we're in Japan, and if you turn on the TV right now, I'm sure out of the 8 basic channels that we get, at least 6 of them is going to be some group of comedians talking about some absolute nonsense stories,
Taste testing food,
right?
In the daytime, yeah.
Right, and it's absolutely. I mean, honestly, what value is there from watching something like that? There is no value whatsoever. And I'm a guy who I'm all about knowledge and education, and my movie was. I made sure that it's not one of those films that I'm at the top somewhere and I point my finger and you Christians are bad and you Muslims are bad, and I made sure to avoid that because then people avoid the movie. But I made it in a very educational way. These are the facts, and here are some video clips that illustrate what I'm talking about. So it's not just random video clips. It's obviously part of the whole bit, as I call them.
And I believe you did it. You educated me. It's a topic that everyone groans about.
Yeah, for sure.
And
me too.
But to see all that televangelist behavior, things we actually know, but I choose to I've got the choice of channels now.
Oh yeah.
I actually never see televangelism anymore because it's one of those instant click. Go to something else, or I don't even turn the TV on. Let's face it.
Sure.
But to actually be reminded of it in your film, and to be reminded that humans are all the same, the basic need, and some of them just really do not mind stealing money out of people.
They don't. No.
To sell. They just found a particular thing to sell.
Yeah.
And
they're selling an invisible product, But my thing is that you just look at all of them, though. Look at the car they drive. Do they have a private jet? Some of them do, actually. There was a pathetic guy a couple of years ago. I forgot his name. An American.
I remember him. Yeah.
But he actually tried to crowdfund his own private jet. And
his second jet, I think it was an upgrade.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it wasn't. I can't recall his name either, but it was an upgrade of the jet that he already had.
That's insane. I mean, and again, look at the cars they drive. Look at how they dress. This is not a suit that he just picked up from the dumpster or he bought for $20 or something. This suit costs hundreds of dollars. He might have some jewelry which costs thousands of dollars, and you know where that money is coming from. It's not a secret, okay? And that just drives me insane.
It made me think of last night I listened to a podcast as well of a recent one with Russell Brand and Joe Rogan.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
they said something really interesting to me in it, that with I think they were talking about chimpanzees in the wild. They breed. They'll get to about 75 people to 80 chimpanzees before that is too much. There's too much fighting, and they can't do anything as a society, and they branch off and make another one over here. Okay, but they didn't actually say this, but it would be true that there would be a couple of alpha males sort of thing, and females that do this, and probably 70% of non troublemakers.
Right.
Right. So when it comes to the people who just fall into religion that need, like, they have, you said it, I think, they don't think for themselves. They've
Yeah.
been locked into this thing where they can go to church and it's a safe place where they don't have to solve their own problems.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
And you could imagine that in the chimpanzee world. Just
Sure,
look after me, protect me. I'll just stay quiet here, and not no one. You guys can fight my battles.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think that's just an interesting point you said about the population getting too big and then they branch off. I think this is perhaps might be controversial again to some people, but in my opinion, and I've studied this topic, especially climate change and things like that. I can tell you that we are definitely overpopulated in this planet. This population is not normal. It should not be that high. We consume more than we are able to produce every year, and of course, some countries will suffer greatly from climate change, and it's unavoidable now. Unfortunately, 21st century is going to be not a happy one for humanity. That's all I can say. I mean, again, I've studied this stuff, and for those people who might listen to me and think about this one lecture that some professor made about overpopulation, where he actually says that we can go to 11 billion people by the end of the century. I watched that lecture, and some people do bring up this lecture when I bring up overpopulation. But what I will say, though, is that if you listen to him talk, he never mentions climate change. So this is perhaps 11 billion people in a world without climate change. Perhaps this is possible, but we are dealing with climate change.
so, almost on that note, put it there,
Yep.
JC. It's been great to talk to you again.
Sure.
What?
So, by the way, you were asking me
Yes.
how can people find my movie. So,
Yes.
I don't know if you're aware, but Facebook recently changed its system to the at something, kind of like Twitter, right? So if people go into the Facebook search bar and they just type at age reason, one word, it will bring them to my show's page, and through there they can buy the DVD or the Blu-ray.
Great. So just Age Reason. It's the Age of Reason podcast.
Yeah,
Frozen Frame Productions.
that's right.
And did I get it right that you are actually using your Facebook page, which is the greatest idea. We do it with our own business. It's the number one. You don't need your own website in this day and age, and it's where the best way to find you. And I strongly urge everyone to chase this film up. You won't be disappointed. And most people often think, it's a homemade production. It'll feel like it's homemade. This one most definitely isn't. Right. I would rate it next to one of the greatest documentaries I've ever seen on a huge topic. So with great cinematography of some of the images that you've used on a big screen. I imagine they look great. Beautiful sound and orchestration sound type.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I watched it, after I finished it, obviously, the first time I watched it, like just sitting down, was on a 64-inch flat screen with 5.1 surround sound, and
sure,
so that was great.
And that will sort the men from the boys, as they'd say in Australia.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right.
Filmmaking,
But you're right. Definitely, this was because I have access to good equipment, and that helps with production. Audio too, by the way, same thing.
Right. Well, definitely.
By the way, the next movie, if I can plug that in, please. It's gonna take a while though, obviously, because I'm not even in pre-production right now. But I want to make a kind of series of those films. So The second one will be on conspiracy theories, because I feel like that's just like religion. It's people who believe just absolute woo nonsense ideas without any evidence, and I feel that's very related. So that's going to be the second movie.
Well, that would be interesting.
Yeah,
that would be interesting. I'll tell you why, because it would be draining also.
Sure.
Oh, I know some conspiracy theorists, and they are painful.
They're
painful people to talk to.
I want to try to get a bit more people involved. So, for example, if I'm going to talk about the moon landing hoax, because there are, of course, people who deny the moon landing, I might want to go to some planetarium in Tokyo and actually ask some person who works there. He's perhaps a scientist even who can give a short interview. So I'd like to incorporate more people if it's possible. It's always easy to start thinking big, or I'm going to interview like 20 people. But then when you actually start doing it and start to make those deals with people, you realize that it's not so easy. So,
well, definitely subscribe to JC's Age of Reason podcast, his YouTube channel. He's start with Facebook though, yep. And order this film. Put it there once again.
All right,
and I'll finish this one off in a different style that I promised myself I would do today. This podcast was brought to you by Koala Karma, the chill out drink. Sit back, relax, get yourself a 64-inch TV channel, and put on Requiescat in pace. But please say it again properly in Italian.
Requiescat in pace.
Requiescat in pace.
Oh, there you go. You got it.
We may have to put it in English. No, we don't. Let's hear it from him. All right, thank you. Now, coming up, July the 2nd, the Titanics are at night quarter for the Independence Day celebration. So it's America on the Gold Coast. Come on down to night quarter on the main stage and see the band. Have a good time. All right, over and out. Anything you want to say, JC? that's so you. That's beautiful. Okay, goodbye.
Two great European narcotics, alcohol and Christianity. I know which one I prefer. We never went to church, just get on with work, and sometimes things all hurt. But it's hit me since you left us, and it's so hard not to search. If you were still about, I'd ask you what I'm supposed to do now. I just get a bit scared every now. I hope I made you proud. On your birthday, when Mum passed the forks and spoons, I put my head on the table, I was so distraught with you. You tidied your things into the bin the more poorly you grew, so there's nothing of yours to hold or to talk to. You put your hand up and interrupt the conversation with a but. People say I interrupt people with the same look. Sometimes I think so hard I can't remember how your face looked. Started reading about dreams in your favourite book. I panic and pace when I can't see the right thing to do. You'd be scratching your head through the best advice you knew. And I feel sad I can't hear you reciting it through. I miss you, Dad, but I got nothing to remind me of you. We never went to church, just get on with work, and sometimes things all hurt. But it's hit me since you left us, and it's so hard not to search. If you were still about, I'd ask you what I'm supposed to do now. I just get a bit scared every now. I hope I made you proud. I needed a break when your book about dreams was taken. I needed to pray I see a priest that day. I needed to leave this trade and just heave it away. But I cleaned up my place like you so I could see things straight. I never cared about God when life was sailing on the calm, so I said I'd get my head down and I'd deal with the ache in my heart. And for that, if God exists, I reckon he'd pay me regard. Mum says me and you the same from the start. I guess then you did leave me something to remind me of you. Every time I interrupt someone like you used to, when I do something like you, you'll be on my mind all through, 'cause I forgot you left me behind to remind me of you. We never went to church, just get on with work, and sometimes things all hurt. But it's hit me since you left us, and it's so hard not to search. If you were still about, I'd ask you what I'm supposed to do now. I just get a bit scared